Hey you guys, this video is to talk about file types and how to save and how to export things from Photoshop to continue working on them or to save them to submit to your teacher. So I've got this project open from a past student of mine. And for this project, she started with this photograph. It's a black and white photograph. And then she took it through a series of steps, and you can see those over here in the layers. So we've got a multi-layer file here, and this up here at the top the file type is a .psd. Now that means that when we make a change here and we save it, it will open up and we'll still be able to edit those layers. So for example, if I turn this layer off and we can see that visible change, and I hit Command S on my keyboard or go up to File, Save, and I save that and close it. When I open it back up from my Finder, so I'm going to go get that exact same file, we can see that change that I had made, and we still have these layers over here that I can continue to edit. So I'm going to turn that layer back on and Command S to save it again. Now, when this is when the student was ready to turn this in, she needed to save it as a JPEG so that she could submit it to Canvas. So when I go up here to File, I can do Save As, and this will give me the option to change the file type to JPEG. So that's one way that I can do that. And when we're in this window, we can select where to put it. So we're going to make sure it's in the correct folder, and we can hit Save right there. I'm going to hit Cancel. Another way we can do this is go to File, Export, Export As. And this is kind of nice in that it has to be one of these file types. And generally in Canvas, a PNG or a JPEG are accepted. JPEGs are best for photographs, as you'll learn in class. So we're going to make sure that's a JPEG. And we have some options here for scale. We're going to leave everything here the same. And then we're going to hit Export. And then here we've got to make sure that it's going into the correct folder. So I'm going to go back to that hand-colored photography folder and click Save right here. It's going to ask if I want to replace it because I already have one saved in here. So I'm going to do Replace. If I didn't want it to replace that, I would have changed the name. So now when I look in my Finder, I have the JPEG that is ready to turn in. It has that 01 at the end. So that one's ready to submit to Canvas. If I wanted to continue to edit, I could open back up my Photoshop file and I could edit that. When I open up the JPEG file, however, let me get that opened. When I look at this, it has flattened the layers. A JPEG takes all those layers and flattens it, and that's what makes the file type smaller. So when we look in here at this file type, this is a 1.7 meg file, the JPEG, in the Photoshop is a 65.3 megabyte file. So there's a pretty huge difference. Another interesting difference is that on the Photoshop file, we've got the original creation date. So we can see that the student actually created this back on Tuesday, April 30th, 2019 at 4:13 a.m. And talk about dedication to your work. And then we can still see the camera that the photograph was originally taken with, and then also that it was created on Adobe Photoshop. That's where she did the editing. But this new JPEG that I just saved says it was saved today at 7:40 p.m. And that's all we've got. So the JPEG sort of strips the metadata, takes that away, and also, especially when it's edited in Photoshop, as this one is heavily edited. And so that's kind of the difference there. If I do a Save As, I'm going to go back in here and do a Save As, just so we can look at the difference. So in this one, I'm going to actually name this one O2, just so we don't overwrite the file. And we always want to make sure this is at 12 and click OK. And now when I look at this O2 file, it's a 2.9 megabyte file. It's a little bit larger, and some of the metadata held on. So we still can see that it was created in Photoshop versus the exported one. We've lost that metadata. So either way, exporting or Save As is fine. The most important thing is that when you're editing a multi-layer file in Photoshop, you save a version that is a .psd so you can continue to edit. When you are ready to submit it to Canvas for grading, you need to save it or export it as a JPEG file. All right, that's it.